Welcome to the Chinese Grand Prix. It's the first sprint weekend of this fourth season, and there's a smattering of rain in the air. Both the sprint and the main race have rain at the end. But in typical F1 game fashion, with the forecast set to not entirely perfectly accurate, that rain may well come earlier than the very end. We'll see how our pace is in the wet in the sprint, and then we'll be able to probably adjust accordingly for the main race, we hope anyway. So we're going to put the older parts in, which we've got set to go. We're having an alright season so far. A P3, a P6 that should have been a P4, and a P8 in Japan, which is our best Japanese finish thus far. And then China, we've tended to go well in. We've tended to be really strong in China previously. I would obviously like to be strong in China again. I'm not really going to waste your time at the beginning of this one. Just please drop the video a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And hopefully we can do some winning. Short practice session, obviously, because we're on a sprint weekend, so we only get one practice session rather than three, and I wasn't able to maximise either, or really any, of the practice programmes other than the track acclimatisation, which is hard not to be able to maximise. But we don't look great. I didn't do a lap in anger whilst using the battery in hot laps, so I have absolutely no idea where I sit competitively right now. I only have 391 resource points available, but that should be enough and is enough to do the Halo and get that done before the Miami Grand Prix. And that's a major upgrade, I think. No, it's just a minor one, but it actually adds quite a bit of a jump. So that's good. And then we can't do anything else anywhere else after that, I don't think, until I get to 50%, which hopefully won't be too long. If I can keep performing to a relatively high standard, then we should be on par with George Russell in the not too distant future. He's better than me so far this season. Has more points. I do have an unfortunate DNF though. And hopefully we can finish ahead of him this weekend and close that gap. Deep in the hairpin, that's not great. Need a decent lap. Ooh, a 29 into the 29s is a decent lap. P1 in SQ1, and hopefully that's the pattern we can repeat repeatedly through SQ2, SQ3, Q1, Q2 and Q3 for the full weekend. That would be lovely. Faster by a slight chunk as well, actually. It's only SQ1, we won't get carried away, but it's at least a good sign there's some pace in the car and this setup is where it needs to be. Gonna need to be good. It's good enough. A 30 flat. We'll take it. Should be top 3, top 5. That's fair enough. Made the mistake, but we're through. That's the most important thing. Have there been any shock knockouts? I didn't check in SQ1. It's not that important for a sprint race, really, because there are massively large amounts of points on offer. Checo's out in his Haas. Both Ferraris are through, both Mercedes are through, both Astons are through, both McLarens are through. Max just squeaks through. Pierre Gasly is the RB that gets through this time. Yuki out, both Saubers and both Haas's out. So, as far as I can make out, everybody that should be through is, and everybody that should be out is also out. Don't really feel like I've maximised the battery on this Q3 lap. I think this is probably going to be top 5 at best. .29.1. It's not ideal. It's third. It's not bad, actually. I anticipated being slightly lower than that. So we'll take a top 3. If we can get third in the main Grand Prix, we'll be happy with the podium. It's the 2 Ferrari that are ahead of us, and only by a couple of tenths as well. So they are dealable with, if you know what I mean, in the sprint race and in the main Grand Prix, provided we're fast enough in a straight line down the straights. P3 is not a bad place to start, to be fair. we will take it. Time for the sprint race.
Superb parking there, mate.
Thank you, Mark.
Make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out.
I'll try.
Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be
George
patient.
8th. George has not qualified well here, but it's not like I qualified well elsewhere, is it? Probably should have whacked it up into second there. I did get quite a bit of wheel spin, but it wasn't bad as starts go. I always like to hang it wide at China, because sometimes you can sneak up the inside into 2. Hasn't quite worked for us here. George has actually shot up to 4th. Let's go, Mr. Russell. That's a great start, mate. He's actually going to get me here because I had a bit of wheel spin whilst I was... Oh, God. Turned into him. Had a bit of wheel spin whilst I was actually just acknowledging where the hell he was. Warning for the collision, which is rightly so. No damage, thankfully, to either car. It was wheel to wheel. Shows how you need to keep your concentration at all times during race starts. We dropped to 4th, that's fine. It's going to be Mercedes versus Mercedes versus Ferrari versus Ferrari, and behind now it's Aston and Aston as well. Stroll started 4th, he's dropped behind his teammate. I started 3rd, I've dropped behind my teammate. George from 8th to 3rd is a monstrous start. He's done remarkably well there. Right, let's get after him, shall we? Let's try and get ourselves, hopefully, the chance of victory here in China. We are a little slow in a straight line, though, I think, even with having taken some wing out. I'll leave space on the apex for Fernando. Most important thing is that we stay within DRS range of the cars in front, obviously, which we have done. A little bit of downforce there, actually, as I swung in with a heavier fuel load, which is not ideal. Something we'll have to manage throughout the course of the Grand Prix, specifically when there's more weight in the car with a full 56 laps worth of fuel rather than just the 19 of the sprint. Right, stay with them, Ches. The main Ferrari out front, Charles Leclerc, has disappeared, but hopefully we can reel him back in. It's probably where my high tyre wear comes in. 5% on the front left already, after 2 and a bit laps. Very high. Just where we went for the harder tyre set around here. It'll probably be a medium hard race, I imagine. There's such ridiculous traction out of here last lap. Maybe I just had a poor corner because I've only lost about half a tenth there this time. They had outrageous traction through here as well. And again, they have pulled half a second between George and Lewis, which is coming down. Charles is really opening up a bit of a gap here. We're absolutely in the fight for second, but the win might have gone. I'm always about 7.5 tenths behind and about 2.5 tenths in front as we come onto this straight. I'm just not fast enough around the key parts of the track. Charles's lead isn't... He's not running away with it, but he is jogging away at a slightly faster pace than the rest of us. My tyre wear is going to start to become a bit of an issue soon. I think they're slower around 1 and 2, or certainly around 1, because they look after their outside left tyre, whereas I just drive pedal to the metal as fast as possible all the time. I'm not a tyre whisperer, I'm a tyre shouter. I scream at them until they die. Am I close enough to George to have a look? I can have a look. It's not a great attempt though. Might, however, have cost George DRS and the Ferrari. If it has, then it's that half look that then sets up a better opportunity later in the lap. Rear got away from me a little bit through there though. George is out of DRS range of the car in front. But will we have enough of a speed advantage as I, again, struggle to get the power down? Will we have enough of a speed advantage to get me into the hairpin or not? I don't know. I wouldn't say so at this point. Tyres really are crying out now. No, not close enough. Maybe down the main straight though. Give me some traction, please, rear tyres. God damn it. They're being really, really unkind to me at the minute, these rear tyres. No, Fernando. There's no room, Fernando. Don't even think about it, Fernando. Oh, George, you slow through there, mate. Right, now we might actually be able to genuinely make a move for George into turn 4 because he's not got the slipstream. I'm going to use a bit more battery. There you go. Daniel Ricciardo-esque. Old school Daniel Ricciardo-esque. That is P3. Although probably not for long, he'll get me back down the straight, I imagine. 2.1 to the Ferrari in front now. I think the Ferraris are gone. It's going to have to be strategy in the main race, or a very strong qualifying effort and good defensive work. If I had maximised my start and not been overtaken by George, maybe I could have gotten past Lewis slightly earlier and kept Leclerc within touching distance, but George is going to have me here. I've got no defence whatsoever to this. Does mean that hopefully I'll have DRS, so down to turn 1 again next lap. Fernando Alonso is trying to get in on the act here as well, but not going to let him. I think my best bet is probably... I don't know what my best bet is. I don't know, as I've got the pace to break DRS range to George anyway. He's so slow around that part though. I think I'm just going to have to try and get past him through one of the braking zones at the end of a DRS straight. I'll save battery a little bit here. I won't go for George on this occasion. We've lost a full second to Lewis from this point in the last lap. Just battling. The Ferraris are definitely gone. There's such a long way in the season left to go though, and so much more we're going to be able to do to upgrade the car to catch Ferrari in the R&D Performance Index, that Ferrari are not going to be this dominant a whole season. They're absolutely going to be catchable by the time we get to Abu Dhabi, I'd like to think. George now using his battery to defend. A little closer this lap than I was last, but only by about 1/10 of a second. Which looks like it's going to be enough. On the outside of the hairpin, Théo Pourchaire is out for the second race in a row. George will now have DRS down this straight, but I'm going to use all of my battery to defend, and then we know that they're slow around 1 and 2. So if I can just get this right, or at least not horribly wrong, then we can open up a bit of an advantage, which we have been able to do. 7/10 now to George behind. As Lando Norris sets the fastest lap of the race, he's presumably boxed at some point for something. Presumably a front wing. No? Oh, they started on softs. I thought everybody was on the medium. I did not anticipate anyone going soft. That's a terrible idea. Well, you might not, you know. I might have just enough battery to make my speed advantage. Not even speed advantage, but just to be fast enough down to the hairpin. George is going to be quick down here with battery and ERS. He's going to get me. getting back around the outside of 2 though. Well, that's the plan anyway. He's going to slow up here. I'm going to go all the way around the outside. I'll be on his inside here. Try and get a better exit. Give him the room though. Same move again. George locked up there actually. And George has gone deep and lost himself a couple of positions there. Russell has now fallen behind both Aston Martins. You didn't quite see what happened there as I made the move to George's inside. He's going to lock up his front right, I think. It's both tyres. And slot in behind both Aston Martins in front of Max Verstappen. Thanks for that, George. It sucks for the team, but it's good for me. Although now it's the questionably faster Fernando Alonso in the definitely faster Aston Martin at this stage of the season that's going to be the one attacking me. So I might have been better off having my teammate behind. Although we were able to hold off the Aston Martin in the early stages of the race, but obviously tyre wear now is much higher for me. 25% that front left after 13 laps or so, and you can see how close the Aston Martin is. That close.
Keep on him, he might make a mistake.
He might. He might not, but sometime within DRS I should be hopefully in with a shout of still getting a top 3 in this sprint race by the end of lap 19. Not only did George lock up and throw away the position, he's now got an issue with his car and he's going to be slow. What was looking like a really decent sprint race for Mercedes is now, well, not. I'm going to be faster than Stroll here and we will gain on Fernando, but George is going to get mugged, I think, by Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. Whether he falls back as far as the Hasses in that next train, I don't know. It's Haas RB there. So I need to... They're going to be very fast on the final lap. So I need to get the move done sooner rather than later, really. Losing the rear end like that just isn't helping. Oh! Rear tyres are the bane of my existence at the minute around this bloody Chinese circuit. Getting the power down is so tough. Every time I think I've got a slight advantage, I go and put the power down maybe a couple of meters too soon, literally only a couple of meters. And I end up not quite getting the traction I need to make the advantage that I have in the moment. I need to get Fernando at the end of this straight, really. So I'm going to drain the battery here. And we're going for it into the hairpin. If I could get it done before the hairpin, that would be ideal. Try and save some ERS as well for the defence. Down the main straight. Have to go deep on the brakes to try and get it done all the way around the outside. It is not done yet. But we forced Fernando wide and we got DRS there because he was just ahead of me through the detection point, and Stroll has actually taken his teammate there. He's now having a look at me into turn 1, but we know that we're going to have the advantage here because they're quite slow at this apex. So he's going to back out of it there. I just have to make sure now that I have enough battery left at the end of this lap to be able to defend into the hairpin. And we have a 3rd place finish in the sprint, potentially in the bag. I'm certainly more glad that it's Stroll behind me, not Alonso. Verstappen and Verstappen and Piastri have both gotten George Russell here now with George's issue. So, and in fact, actually, Piastri's gotten Verstappen too. George is in no man's land at the minute. I need to get through these next couple of corners as cleanly as possible. I haven't done there. This one's the more important though. I've got a lot of battery here and I'm going to have to use it. He's got a run on me. I'm going to try and break the toe as best I can. But there he goes up the inside. Lance Stroll. Kind of parks it. And again, I can't get the power down. Stroll's going to have me here. Ah, it's just not quite enough. P4's still decent, but fair play, Lance. You've earned that. It was a good move. I didn't quite get the entry onto the long straight right with traction, which has been an issue for me all weekend long so far, but P4's not bad. And hopefully with strategy and pit stops, etc., we'll be more competitive with the Ferrari and in the main race. And also, if I'd have been able to have a better start to that race and not gotten quite so caught out by my teammate, then maybe would have been closer to the Ferrari anyway. Right, fresh parts in the car, and then to main qualifying.
We've dropped to P20.
And 29.8 is the fastest lap we've done so far this weekend. 7th. Is it 29.8 the fastest lap we've done this weekend? Did it do a 29.1 or something in... Yeah, it might have done a 29.1 in Q3. In SQ3. Alright, 29.8 is good enough for P7 here. Any shock exits? George is in P2. No, both Williams, both Alpine, and a Red Bull. Off we can pop to Q2. Which we can, a 29.5. 29.5 will do nicely. 7th again. They have stepped it up from sprint qualifying here, the AI. And even with my fresher, more powerful parts, I'm not as competitive. Pierre Gasly, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, and Sergio Perez out. So Zhou Guanyu in the Sauber, his home Grand Prix, is through to Q3. GG, sir. And Carlos Sainz has pulled a lap out the bag there as well. Stroll has done a 29.3 in P6. So if I want to be top 6, I need to be very low 29s. And that is not how you end a lap in China. It's 29.2, but it's not really good enough. It's P5. It's maybe a 10th in the final turn there. That was really not very well taken. So I was trying to carry as much speed as I could have done through there. I don't think I would have had enough to get into the top 4, though, judging by that. Charles Leclerc, outrageous lap. 28.5, 5/10 faster than anybody else. Lando does get a P2 and saves potentially a set of softs for the Grand Prix as well. Well, if we can do things right tactically and have a better start, then there is a podium on the board here for us in this one. But the win, I think, might well be Charles's again. He's so strong in that Ferrari again for the 2nd season in a row. The game just has him on another level. Even Lewis Hamilton is down in 6th. The rain in the sprint race didn't come at the end, did it? So I wonder whether the rain in the main race will or won't do the same.
It's time to see
I don't know if there's going to be anyone in the top few that's going to have a penalty here.
Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc.
The fact that Charles doesn't have anyone in front of him means he's probably going to, like he did in the sprint. I don't see Lando Norris being able to keep pace with him, really. I start 4th, though. So there are penalties. George Russell being one of them. Well, he did have a failure of some description, didn't he, in the sprint race, had an issue. Verstappen and Piastri, well, it's a big penalty. Russell down 10 places to 14th. Big penalty for George Russell. That sucks for the team. It sucks for him. Théo Pourchaire takes a pen as well after his retirement in the last race. In the sprint, sorry. So, what's the strategy here? Medium hard. Makes sense to me. Apparently, I'm 14 seconds slow. So, it was a 19 lap. I'm probably going to end up having to do a two stop here. What's everyone else doing? Out of curiosity. Lando on hards. I would be tempted to go to the hard and start on the hard, but I don't know as I'd have the pace. So I'm probably going to end up... Let me edit this strategy slightly. Change that to... I don't have... What? I should have another set of hards. Okay, good. So because I used the... let me revert strategy. I should have had another set of hards available, but because of the way the sprint weekend works, it's just offered me mediums or hards for the sprint rather than medium and softs for the sprint. I anticipated having an extra set of hard tyres for the race, which I don't have available. Bugger. So it will be a medium hard race unless there's a safety car or something happens, but those softs are not going to last very well at all. But 63 laps worth of fuel in the car, that's 7 laps worth of extra fuel. Oh. I think starting on the mediums is the right call because we don't know how long the mediums will last at the end of the race. So being on the medium to start with, being as competitive as possible, boxing early for a hard set and then hoping they last to the end is probably the call. This might well be a little bit painful, but we'll do our best. We'll aim for a podium. So because of George's penalty, we are not starting on the racing line. We start on the dirty side of the grid. Which was actually... That was a great parking. Which was actually very good for George. If you remember, from
keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed.
In the sprint race. But that was highly unusual. I tried a quick shift to second this time to see if it would work. It didn't. Lando on his hard tyres has lost the position to Alonso already. I'd like to drift left here, but there is a Ferrari there. Lewis Hamilton has positioned himself rather awkwardly there for me. Stroll is alongside, but I'll drift wide here and put him out of position. Right, I need to basically make moves as quickly as possible now. If we're to stand a chance of doing anything, we need to dispatch Lando, get past the McLaren on the hard tyre, and then get after Fernando and Charles. Because if they get too far into the distance, they're gone and we won't catch them, even with the pit strategy we hope is available to us because of the nature of my tyre wear here. But Lando will be slower on those hard tyres for sure.
Okay, the start was fine.
So we'll see what we can do. Obviously, if there is wet weather at the end, that throws a massive curveball into the equation. And we've absolutely no idea what will happen then. But I'm going to try and get past Lando as quickly as I can. I'm using a lot of battery here to try and close in on the McLaren. He's going to go defensive. I'm going to go and make an attempt to go around the outside of him here at the hairpin. And we are past him. That could be race critical. Although I'm then slow on the final turn.
DRS now enabled.
To use a lot of battery there. Lando, there is no room on that side of the track, mate. Right, let's try and stick with Fernando and Charles if we can. If we can get dragged along by Charles in the early stages of this race, then maybe there is the opportunity, but we're going to have to make sure we keep pace with Fernando as well. Please, 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 can I stay in DRS range of the two in front?
Experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible.
No is going to be the answer to that request. It might not be. I might just have been in DRS range there, actually. Please say I was. Please say I was. Yes! Vamos! Come on then. Let's challenge for a race win, potentially, here in China. Even if I wasn't in DRS, those two battling would have brought me into the question anyway. Game on, gentlemen, game on.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Around the outside, around the outside, around the outside of Fernando Alonso, please. Don't turn into me, Nando. Good boy. Is he going to go defensive into 4? No, it's fine. Quite happy to just sit with these two at the minute if they drag us away from the group behind. To be fair, there's a bit of a gap at the minute between Lando in 5th and Lewis Hamilton in 6th, so the front 5 are just disappearing at the moment. But the fact that we're still in touch with Charles Leclerc means the race win is still potentially there for us. As soon as Charles Leclerc disappears down the road, that's when it's gone. Oh, a lock-up from Fernando or Charles, not sure which. Fernando didn't have a go at Leclerc there, so maybe it was he that locked up his tyres. Stroll and Norris still very much part of this question for who's going to win this Grand Prix. I think Fernando is probably firmly in the get dragged along by Charles camp along with me at the minute. Lance Stroll was able to get the better of us on the last lap of the sprint race. I'm very much hoping to avoid a certain similar scenario in the main Grand Prix. That scenario might be for a sprint or for a full race victory, potentially. I don't think we're going to be able to deal with the pace of Charles longer term. But provided Fernando is still here, costing him time by battling with him, if I can get an undercut by a couple of laps, it could be very, very helpful indeed to open up a bit of a gap, and then they fight, slow each other up, and I can maintain that gap. That's my current aim. But Lando might... The fact that we're all dragging Lando along here is huge for Lando as well with those hard tyres. He's going to be in a fantastic position at the end of the race. Lando's going to be very quick. Just depends on what tyre he's on and what strategy he's on. Because if he's on a 2-stop, it's not the one. If he's on a 1-stop and he's hard mediuming rather than hard softing, medium harding. If he's hard mediuming rather than medium harding, then he's in a great position. Alonso got Leclerc there on the exit of the final corner, and I'm now, hopefully, going to go around the outside of Alonso to take the lead the Grand Prix here, which we have done. Charles Leclerc is no longer dragging anybody along because he's in 3rd. We're going to be boxing much sooner than lap 25, I can tell you that much for free. %10 wear on the front left after 5 laps. There's no way I take that front left to 50% wear. Not a chance. We'll probably look to box 22, maybe even earlier. We know the medium will take us as far as lap 19, but that was with a third of the race fuel that we've got on board now. This is a tough one to figure out. Just going to enjoy being in first for the time being. Try not to think about the bigger picture. Just drive as fast as I can to get to that pit stop, and then we see what the strategy looks like once we've boxed. Lewis is now starting to get a bit of a gap on the Haas. Probably broken DRS there, and he's going to try and close in on Lando. Not even try to, he will close in on Lando. So the 5 has become a 6. The quintet becomes a sextet in the fight for a race victory here. I really want to know what Lando Norris's strategy is. I'm particularly curious to see if he's going to go hard medium. If he does, it's going to be very fast at the end, but he's going to have quite a bit of distance to catch up, because he's not going to be that great going long on those hards whilst we're on fresh hards. I think on lap 12 we are now at the point where my tyre wear is holding me back. Everyone else is genuinely considerably faster than me at the minute.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Okay to use your overtake button.
The gap to Lando is getting smaller and smaller each lap. Only by like a minuscule amount. But Lando's normally about 1.7 seconds behind. And he keeps coming to about 1.2 or 3. And that's with 3 cars between us as well. I've just got to hang on as long as I can. Medium tyres, please get me to at least lap 22. I'm begging you. Where is the game tonight? Alonso's just got too much DRS pace for me there. It's not the first time he's got himself in front during this opening stint.
Come on, you can
Sure, it won't be the
pace
last.
back.
But provided we can keep ourselves in DRS range and the tyres hang on around turn 1,
You're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Let's keep pushing.
we should be able to keep taking P1 back again. In exactly this manner. Not the first time we've done it, won't be the last time we do it. Drifting a little bit wide just to give Fernando a bit of warning. He's actually held on quite nicely there, and that's because my tyres are now probably have had too much. I'll take it back again, thank you very much. It's good scrapping. It's costing us time compared to everybody else, but let's be honest, everybody from Lewis backwards, or everywhere behind Lewis, isn't going to be catching us regardless whether we're scrapping or not. But we're in a position where if I was at the back of this train, or if everybody was in clear air, we'd probably fall further behind. Because I'm at the front of it, I'm able to at least try and hold everybody else up, which is where I desperately need that undercut. I need to stay in front of everybody after the pit stops to stand a chance of winning. Grip levels falling away soon when we're on lap 17 isn't great. I already need to try and make it to probably as close to lap 25 as I can. It's not looking good, Brev.
13.7 seconds.
Our tyre wear is going to probably stop us from winning this Grand Prix. I don't know whether my undercut would actually work. I think these guys are just going to be quick enough to be able to deal with my undercut. I basically just need to stay in front as long as physically possible. And then box, hope that it's a clean pit stop, and then try and replicate what we've done in this first stint in the second. Lando is probably going to be a bit of an issue at the end. Don't rule Lando Norris out from a really solid Grand Prix victory here today. George is having a tough time making his way through the pack, isn't he? Started 14th, has made 1 position so far, and he's stuck in a train. Very F124-esque for nobody to be making any moves in either of the trains, other than those 2 at the front of said train. Really desperately hope that the AI are better in F125, because it's so predictable on 24. It's better than it was at launch, but it's still really not great. It's going to be 20 laps completed, 40% on the front left. Oh God! This is really difficult, but so far so good. Just fighting very, very hard with DRS to manage the gap to those behind. I say manage the gap, just to stay in front basically. They are faster than me, but because I can be aggressive at the right parts of the circuit, I'm able to maintain the position, because F124 AI is F124 AI. An RB behind is retiring into turn 1, which could cause chaos, but it looks like everybody's managed to make it past them cleanly. And it was the lead RB as well, I think. So I think that's Yuki Tsunoda retiring from the race here. Find out momentarily. No, it's Pierre Gasly. I had a 50-50 chance. A safety car might have been quite handy. No, actually, no, you know what? Probably not. Maybe, because they might have stayed out. Might not have changed anything. Might not have changed anything at all. I went through about 7 different scenarios in my head there and came with the exact same end result. Probably good that there wasn't a safety car. Nando's going to have another go here because the top end is faster than mine. Again, we'll go deep on the brakes, try and hang it around the outside, get as good a traction on the way out of that turn as possible, hold on to the position, tip in front of him again for the last turn, and stay in front. We've so far managed to make it as far as lap 23. And we'll do our old hang it around the outside into turn 1. There you go. Thank you. P1 still. I'm going to try and make it as far as lap 25, which is when the scheduled pit stop was. They will stop on 27. But we're stopping 25 because of our high tyre wear. It's what was suggested by the team prior to the race. And that's what we'll do.
Please keep those tyre temps under control if you can.
That's what we'll do in the Grand Prix as well. We will take on board their advice. That didn't last very long, did it? We'll take on board their advice. Try and make it to 25 with a very, very worn set of tyres. And hope then that the hard tyres take me to the end and that we can win the race. I am effectively leader of a train of very frustrated drivers behind me at the minute. Right, I'll tell them I'll box this lap. What I'm tempted to do is not use any ERS or use minimal ERS down the straight so that I have quite a bit of it available for my out lap. I don't mind if Alonso gets me, because that means he then won't have DRS down the main straight. So if he wants to take me here, he's more than welcome to. He won't have DRS down the main straight because he'll be the first through the detection point. I've not really lost any time there. I'm going to have to be careful here though, because he's going to dip to the left and I'm going to go straight on. That was close.
Might make a mistake and we could still regain the position.
And we are into the box for our one and planned only stop of the race. Please be 2.5 seconds.
Okay,
2.4! Oh my god!
Fantastic.
Thank you, gents! Right, now some have made a stop already. And they are 3 stopping. Medium, soft, or soft from those behind. Max started on the hards and is running 12th after starting 11th, so not having a great Grand Prix. George is now up to 11th, but only because some in front of him have boxed. I'm the first of the front runners to dip in. I really don't know what Lando's doing. Both McLarens actually are on the hard tyre here. So if I get out, I was going to say, if I get out in front of Tsunoda, I might be able to ask about the McLaren to have an idea. I need to try and get out in front of the Sauber, which we have been able to do. Now, getting DRS for some of the back markers will be good, but I then need them to not hold me up, because Fernando Alonso has been unleashed now, and the rest of that train will be very fast. So I need to use my battery as best I can on this lap to ensure we have a really solid out lap. Don't get held up by Max Verstappen.
Come on.
And make as much time as possible with fresh tyres and a full battery. These fresh tyres do feel a bit slippery though, if I'm honest. Come on, Max. Put your foot down, lad. Oh god, they're so slippery at the rear.
Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry
get Max
about.
with DRS here. And that one should hopefully make up for the loss of time we had stuck behind him. It'll be a very, very simple overtake, as most tends to be down here into the hairpin. Like we say, we're anticipating everyone else in the front few stopping on lap
Brilliant, nice move.
27. As one of the Saubers has boxed there now. Hopefully Fernando and Charles fight a little bit on the 2 laps that I've not been in front of them and cost themselves a little bit of time. And we can get Checo. That would be huge, but 9 tenths to Sergio Perez, I don't think it's going to happen. Is Checo going to go defensive at all? He's not. So I'm going to have to just take the loss of time around here. They are in the box now. They're going to go straight on here, though. So I will get DRS off them. I've just got to get out in front of Fernando.
George is in the pits,
which we've done.
Now.
We've maintained the lead of the Grand Prix. Or the net lead of the Grand Prix. And Fernando's come out behind Max as well. So we have a 3-second gap to Fernando Alonso now. They'll, of course, close that up. But now we just need to replicate in this stint what we did in the first stint. And hopefully the race win will be there for us. It would be massive for our championship hopes and ambitions. If we can get a race win, would be even better if Charles Leclerc doesn't finish second. Tsunoda will be simple. Now, Verstappen obviously isn't going to box anytime soon, but it should be as easy an overtake for them as it was for me to get past Max. And Alonso is through, so I'm not anticipating Max actually holding anyone up that badly. Stroll's in the box now, as is Charles Leclerc. It was actually Lewis that boxed first time around, which was intriguing. Surprised that Lewis was the Ferrari they brought in first. He's not going to undercut his teammate, though. Actually, he is going to undercut his teammate. That's brave from Ferrari, or very, very controversial from Ferrari, depending on which way you choose to look at it. Ferrari boxed the second Ferrari first. He's now undercut his teammate, who is the World Championship leader. And they're all in a train. Lewis and Verstappen fighting now. Gap to Alonso will come down, and he'll be with me within 5 laps or so, I would imagine. We just have no idea when they're going to come in.
The car ahead, 5.8 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Okay, they're on 28 lap old tyres. We think they've got one more stop. Time last lap, 1:36.0.
Probably.
You're taking 2.5 seconds.
2.5 seconds a lap. Wow. They probably box now. Yeah. Lando's in. That was a shout and a half, Jez. And Oscar will box next lap. So Lando's in, but Lando will absolutely lose loads of time here compared to the rest of the train. And I don't think hard medium was the way round to do this, unless he's so quick on those medium tyres, he's able to get up to the back of the train. But in rather typical F124 fashion, I think even if he's on the faster tyre, he'll just sit at the back of the train and not make any inroads into it. Fernando, 3 seconds the gap. He will catch me. It's just a question of whether the Ferrari join him or not. Probably yes, by the time Alonso gets to me, gets stuck behind me, and then the Ferrari join and sit behind. But we're effectively using the AI this year to our advantage here, knowing that they're not going to be that aggressive in the overtake, hoping that if we can just hold off one car, then we can hold off the whole train. Right.
Rain in 10 minutes.
That changes things. That's completely thrown everything I just said out the window. The timing of that radio message was superb for entertainment purposes, absolutely shite for me. Rain on the way. Bugger. And there goes Oscar Piastri into the pits. So we now have the lead of the race back again, but Fernando Alonso is coming. Lando has already made it past one Ferrari and will be after Lewis. And there's enough of a gap between each driver at the minute that Lando will look to make overtakes. Lando will take Lewis Hamilton. Lando will take Fernando Alonso, provided Alonso hasn't caught me and or the rain hasn't arrived yet. and then Lando will come for me. This is taken on a completely different concept now. And that's even before the rain arrives. Lando is past Alonso. The McLaren is very much on a charge to setting the fastest lap of the race. That lap was about a second faster than I just went. Lando will probably catch me by the end of this lap. Lando Norris is in prime position to win this Grand Prix now. Not even any point in fighting this. I might as well just save my battery and try and hang on to Lando as best I can. If I can. In an ideal world, Lando would get past before Fernando gets within DRS range. So that I can... He's just 1.7 seconds faster than us that lap. I can leech off the back of Lando and hope that Fernando can't leech off the back of me. But given Lando's pace thus far on these medium tyres, even though we're right behind him now, I don't think we're within a second of him by the time we get to the DRS zone. Lando is going to disappear now into the distance, and him able to run the hard medium stop strategy, tucked up behind me in that first stint, not losing any time because the others weren't able to maximise their medium tyres, is going to, I think, win Lando Norris this Grand Prix. I've inadvertently cost myself first place by being in first place.
We think we might see some rain. ETA about 15 minutes.
Oh.
Tyres definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So the rain is further out than previously thought. 15 minutes to the rain now. It was 10 minutes 5 minutes ago. That's weird. The longer the rain holds off, the bigger the chance that Lando's medium tyres lose pace. And he maybe comes back towards us a bit. You can see the clouds building. It's not that far away. Yellow flag behind. Someone's going slowly. It might be Lewis Hamilton. It's Fernando Alonso. Oh, yes! Alonso retires from behind us, and we have a 5-second gap to those in third and beyond. The immediate threat to our P2 has been removed.
Starting to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres.
And I'm hoping
we won't be making another pit
that the
stop.
Ferrari will battle with Stroll. That said,
Gap to your teammate behind,
it's Leclerc and Stroll.
9 seconds.
So Leclerc will most likely dispatch of Lance Stroll and zip up to the back of me, because he's dropped his teammate from DRS range and undoubtedly will drop Lance Stroll very soon as well. Well, that's one less driver to potentially overtake us when the rain comes, isn't it? Stroll and Leclerc are fighting. Yes! He's taken them back into Lewis Hamilton. Yes! The gap's gone from 4.3 seconds to 6 seconds. Yes! Keep scrapping, lads. Keep scrapping. Raindrops. Drop top. Insert the rest of the song lyrics. Here comes the wet stuff. Yellow flag behind. Oh, it's Piastri. Nah. Not bothered by Piastri retiring. Doesn't really affect anything for our race or championship. It's good for the constructors, I guess. It's less points from McLaren. And actually, George has somehow, when he was stuck in 13th, has now managed to get himself up to 7th. How have you done that, Mr. Russell? You tell me. Because I have no idea. Russell 7th, Max 8th, probably the 2 stoppers, I would imagine, that will now become 3 stoppers because the rain's about to get here. All right, Oscar Piastri will promote George Russell into 6th, and it's not actually that bad a race weekend for Mercedes, all told. I can't remember whether the rain falls quickly in China or whether it doesn't. I think it doesn't get wet that quickly. But being in this part of the world, there is more possibility of a tsunami type scenario than there is in Europe. I mean, surely at some point we end up on the intermediate. Okay, grip is going. Lando will be on the better tyre here in the medium. His are probably just as worn as ours right now, if not maybe more so by this point. Probably not more so than mine, but maybe more so than the other hard runners. As we say, we've got very high tyre wear here, but at the minute we have just enough grip to stay on the hard tyre.
I suggest this rain's going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
If the rain's going to get stronger, then I'd say we will be on the intermediates by the end of the Grand Prix. There's no chance of a double stack for anyone other than Ferrari, because one of the McLarens has retired, George is nowhere near me, and one of the Astons has retired. But there's enough of a gap between Charles and Lewis that there is really enough time to get a pit stop done for Charles.
Right, there's a big incident in front of you. Red flag, red flag. We'll update.
Red flag? What for? Random red flag. Oh! I just saw on the minimap. I literally just saw on the minimap. An Alpha I've got no ability to go to a replay. Someone spun on the way into, on the way out of the second sector. You know that double left before the little straight and then the hard left on the way towards the loopy long turn 13.
There's been an incident on track, but officials
there will be
push for a safety car right now. Just okay.
There will be
a chance to take a breath.
full
half of this race
full
to go,
wet
and there's still a big opportunity
conditions, or rephrase. It's going to be wet conditions for 9 laps.
Okay. In just a
And
moment,
we start
stand
second.
by.
This has either made or ruined our chances of a strong podium finish. Charles Leclerc looks like he might just get me into turn 1. Now, I don't know how competitive we're going to be in these conditions at all. I can't cut across Charles there. He needs the room. He deserves the room. He's earned the room. Now we've cut across him. Right. Are we going to finish 1st, 2nd or 17th at this rate? Well, actually, can't finish any lower than 15th. So someone must have retired with damage then. Yuki must have spun and Checo hit him, or Checo spun and Yuki hit him. Don't know. They both retired with terminal damage though. And Esteban Ocon did hit Tsunoda, but has survived. There was a spin and there was a crash. So slippy. You see Lando's car just back end stepping on him constantly around that right-hander. Tyre wear is high on the Inters with 3% wear after less than a lap. But as the rain gets stronger, hopefully the amount of rear slippage we're getting will lessen and the Inters will become more and more the better tyre. But no one is yet showing that they've got more pace than anyone else at this stage. If I could get myself in front of Lando somehow,
You're increasing the gap on the car
maybe,
by 0.5 a lap.
maybe we have a chance. But the random red flag has now thrown everything into chaos. George is now 5th, not 6th. He's been able to get Lance Stroll off the restart. So it's actually going to be a pretty decent haul of points for Mercedes here. It's obviously going to be a pretty decent haul of points for Ferrari as well.
Watch out for standing water.
We're nowhere near standing water yet, but we're nowhere near Lando either, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure the Ferrari are going to be on my tail for the rest of the race. I'm just going to have to hold them off for a P2 here, because I'm not going to get the win. Here comes Charles. I'm using all my battery. But for the minute, I can't hold him off. And try and do so around the outside of the hairpin. And he has given it up. Thank you, Charlie. I think I just saw lightning. Surely not. It's definitely very wet now, though. We're not in wet weather tyre conditions now. But it is heavy rain conditions. And Inters are definitely going to be the best tyre for the rest of the race. But braking points are changing every lap here.
Green flag.
Yellow flag's behind. Someone else. It says another spin, I think. It's Lance Stroll.
Okay, so
it's another red flag. Oh my God. Lance Stroll has spun at the hairpin. 2 red flags.
Okay, there's been an incident.
Oh wow. Another
debris.
opportunity to potentially get Lando Norris then. With more fresh Inters put on.
Get a nice advantage.
No, it's full wets
So let's think
now.
about how we handle the rest of this race.
Is it though? Do I go Inters? I can't see the rain. It's a 2... We're starting on lap 55 and there's only a 56 lap Grand Prix. This decision will determine the entirety of our result. Do I start Inters or do I start full wets? I've absolutely no idea. It's telling me that the Inter is 2.5 seconds a lap slower, so I will go on to the wets. Chat is telling me to go on to the wets. We will go on to the wets.
I know. Deja vu here.
It's definitely wet weather.
Opportunity to get this start spot on. Come on.
We've got the start spot on. I'm using battery. I'm going to be in the lead. I'm in first. I'm in first place. Lance Stroll might have just won us this Grand Prix by binning it and causing a second red flag. The restart was superb. It was just what we needed. A little bit of short shifting as well. 2 laps. 2 laps to hang on. Come on now. Concentrate, Ches. Get it done. Oh, please, Lord Jesus, can we win this Chinese Grand Prix? Lando's going to have a look. Try and hang it around the outside of him. It's worked for us as a technique thus far. This Grand Prix. It's worked there. Onto the final lap we go.
Okay, clear.
Yellow flag's behind. Another spin. I think there's another spin, but there can't be another red flag at this stage. Oh, it's Lewis Hamilton. No, it's Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc has spun. That's huge for the championship if Charles is going to lose all of his positions now. Charles Leclerc's not going to get any points. Max Verstappen, they're even reversing on the other side of the... They're reversing on the other side of the hairpin. Oh my God, what has happened at the end of this race? The red flags have caused absolute bedlam. Just got to hang on for this last lap, Ches. You've just got to hang on for this last lap. And if Lewis and Lando have a bit of a battle, that could earn us some time, although I definitely got on the throttle too early there. Is it going to be sprint race all over again, where I get done on the last lap and the run to the line? I hope not. We are on the last lap. We're very nearly at the run to the line. Me versus Lando versus Lewis. George is 8 seconds back in 4th now, as he had to avoid Charles Leclerc. Well, I have to just burn all of my battery down the straight. I've got no choice. No point saving any battery at this stage. Burn, baby, burn. Are we going to be having a Disco Inferno tonight in the Mercedes garage? Maybe not. Lando's got me. Burn, baby, burn. Give me that slipstream. Just outbrake him, but don't lose it, Ches. And the outside. It's worked again. Yes! Ladies and gentlemen, your Chinese Grand Prix winner for the second time in his career. Fucking me, mate.
Very lovely drive.
Get in. My first win for Mercedes in remarkable circumstances with 2 red flags, multiple spins, big crashes for other drivers.
They showed true grit out there today, Crofty.
We've lucked into it.
Not to be
Lando was long gone when the rain was starting until the first red flag,
not the easiest today,
but we took the advantage of the luck. That second race start on the full wets is what won us the Grand Prix, and battling hard at the hairpin all race long to ensure that we were able to hold on to P1.
And they certainly deserve it.
Yeah! Very, very pleased with that indeed. 100 bits from Millie saying, get in, thank you, Lance and Leclerc, indeed. Lewis might well take the championship lead here. It's not the first time we've lifted that trophy here in Shanghai. I will now go and have a look at the race replay and see if we can see what happened for the first red flag, if possible. If not, I shall see you back in the trailer. Oh, get in, boys. So we will ride just off board, Tsunoda. Where did it happen? It was here-ish, wasn't it? No, sorry, it was around here. So Ocon is right behind Tsunoda. Tsunoda is going to bin it somewhere. Oh! Alright. It wasn't Tsunoda at all. Of course, it was Perez and Tsunoda that retired, not Ocon. Ocon got the warning. So Perez is going to drop it behind the Red Bull. And then he's just sat in the middle of the track not moving because F1 AI. Ocon then runs into the back of Yuki, but Yuki and Sergio Perez both lose a tyre there, and that is what caused the first red flag that then ultimately caused the second red flag that led ultimately to our race victory. An all-British podium for the second time this season. 3,500 increase to my pace stat. We might even be 89. We've won the rivalry against Max. We might even be 89 rated now, you know. We're winning the rivalry with Sergio Perez as well. And we are 89 rated because it's telling me I'm 89 rated there. Huge jump in all of our stats with all of those achievements. We're so close to 90 rated now, look. Surely. Still 48%? Come on, mate. What have I got to do to get to 50% to help continue upgrade the car? I'm not sure. What will that do for the driver's standings then after 5 rounds? That was unbelievable. What a time to get that accolade, though. To boost this to from 88 rated to very nearly 90 rated. The Halo will pass, and the side pod profile will also pass before Miami. Miami's a track we got a podium last season as well, I think. Here, we got a P2 in Miami and a win in Imola. Charles Leclerc finished 8th in the end in China, so did get some points, but Lewis has taken the championship lead. So it's Ferrari, Alonso, who still stays 3rd despite the DNF, then me, and I've overtaken Russell and Norris there with that win. I'm now 7 points clear, Lando. And Lance Stroll is significantly further back. 3rd, DNF, which shouldn't have been a DNF. 6th, which could have been a 4th. 8th, and then 1st. Our second win in China. I'm not sure how many wins that is. 8 wins for our career then, thus far. 1 pole, 8 wins. So quali, I don't have it. In race pace, I sometimes do. We've obviously lucked into a couple of victories as well. So we won't be too gung-ho with our ability. 13% on each there. There's actually 4 laps in it. So we'll just keep up with the number ones for now then. Have I got enough resource points? I don't have enough resource points to do anything at this stage. We will have... Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do anything until I reach 50% recognition then, which shouldn't hopefully be that far away. Now in Miami, the soft tyre also isn't great, but I think it's still probably a balanced tyre set needed, not the hard. Not the harder. So we'll go to the balanced tyre set for Miami. And I've had 421 resource points. I can't do anything even if I wanted to. So let's see then, when we get to Miami, what the weather's going to be like. And with those new bits on the car, how competitive it is on the R&D progress chart. At some point, Ferrari will get better. It's a fully dry race. It's another sprint. Oh, wow, we're right with Ferrari. As a McLaren, as a Aston Martin. No actual weather email, annoyingly, but mixed conditions in the sprint, a fully wet quali, and a fully dry race. Well, that's going to be absolutely mental, isn't it? So, yeah, Ferrari, Aston Martin, and McLaren have all peaked now and levelled off. We still have been improving, but from where we are now, we've only got the one thing to improve, which is the front downforce. And then that is it, unless George does something or I get to 50% recognition. So either everyone will plateau here, or once I get to 50% recognition, we'll all kick on again. I couldn't tell you. But at the minute, this is the most competitive the Mercedes has been with everybody else, because look, we're basically all with each other. So anybody can win any race in theory now, although fully expect Charles Leclerc to be as strong as he has been everywhere this season. Well, that was an entertaining end to the Grand Prix weekend, wasn't it? I hope you enjoyed that. That was absolutely mental. Drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more of this 4th season and maybe championship challenging year. Of course, join me on stream as well to ensure you don't miss out on any of all of the action. But for now, that's all from me for today. Thank you very much. Up the Merc. We won a bloody race!